dove into it, started looking at some charts and stuff like that. And then, God, in October, so from May to October, it'd been a few months, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna quit my job and trade full time. So it's like I have a very unconventional story of how I did it, but like I was like 26 at the time. I'd always been trying these entrepreneurial things. I had about $50,000 saved up, so I was like, I have some money, at least to trade with, and then like kind of like to float me like while I can. But one good decision I did make is throughout all of this, I've worked in the restaurant industry a lot of my life. So even when I was like at corporate right out of college, I'd still work at the restaurant one day a week. I've worked at the same restaurant since I was like 15 years old, so I was super young. And like for me, it was a really good decision to be like, okay, well, if I quit the rest, or if I quit my corporate job to trade full time, I could pick up more hours at the restaurant at night, so at least like I had like some money coming in, and I could try to learn how to trade a little bit more stress free. So that's pretty much what I did is I kind of went back to the restaurant like almost full time at night. I was working like 30 hours a week. But that allowed me to focus on trading like in the morning and kind of live that lifestyle of a trader like during the day, and then I would work at night. So like that was really something that, I'm really grateful that I did, because it probably would have been way more stressful if I didn't do it like that, because like I just took the leap and went, because I mean my first year, 2 years, like I didn't really make any money as a trader. So pretty much like that's how I got into it, and from there now it's the journey has really begun. So
That's incredible. And I think it's a wise decision to continue to find some sort of income as you're learning to trade rather than depending solely on trading to be your only source of income, because one can imagine that being potentially disastrous in the long term.
absolutely, absolutely. And I think, it's something initially where it's almost like a prideful thing for people. Like, oh, I want to be this full-time trader. I don't like this is going to be my only income. But like for people out there, like, like as you get into it more, it's like you want trading to be a part of your life. And like, and it depends, obviously, it's different for everybody. But like personally, I think it's good to like be able to use trading as almost like a seed thing to fund other like endeavors that you want and kind of build from there. And it just takes the stress off of it, because there's this weird dichotomy where it's like if you focus on just trading as your only income and you put that much stress on you, like you're probably not going to do that well. Like it's really really hard. So having some other source of income, or see at least some sort of like amount of money saved up, really really can help you just like make better decisions as a trader and ultimately like create the longevity you're looking for.
And I mean, with anybody who gets into trading, money, extra money, is part of the allure to it. But it sounds like, and correct me if I'm wrong, for you, those first, months or maybe even year was more about the education of trading than, making, loads of money and buying exotic cars with it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's kind of like something I'm big on is like, it's all about education, because in this space, it's like, like just like I did, there's no barrier to entry. Like I just quit my job and started. And so it's like, you think about any other professional endeavor or professional career, it's like, you want to be a doctor, you want to be a lawyer, you want to be some high caliber, skilled, paid job like that. Like you go to school for like 8 years before you actually can like go do the thing to like make the money. So absolutely, like if you do not have some source of education or like people you connect with, or like a group like Investors Underground or whatever it is, it's going to be hard. And so it's like I see people out there too that try to be like prideful with it. We're like, oh, I'm going to learn this on my own, I don't need anyone. And it's like, why? Like you're just like hurting yourself. So it's like that's something always I think about.
What were some of the first lessons that you learned in that first year of trading? Was there anything that you didn't know that you didn't know if you hadn't went and actually traded?
Yeah, so I mean, gosh, a majority of my education in the beginning was kind of just like diving into YouTube, the classic, like, okay, like there's little pieces of info here and there. And until really like I took a course and through Authenticus Holdings, like that was really like when everything kind of structured it together and brought it together for me. And, I think, like I said, being able to join a group and take some sort of course is really important, because it is really valuable to kind of bring everything in. Um, I used to watch a bunch of S&B Capital videos at night too. That really, really helps me. So I think education wise, it's like you have to find something that like you connect with and it makes sense to you and it has interest to you. Because obviously, like in this in the trading world, there's so many ways to skin the cat. So you have to find something that resonates with you. But like info in the beginning where I was just, I had no idea, like a lot of it's just like screen time, man, too. And like being able to understand how to create a thesis. Like I remember early on, God, I'm like, how do I know what to look for? It's like you're so confused. You're like, how do I build a setup? What's a setup? Like what, you don't know because there's no like guideline to this. There's not like just there's not a giant master playbook out there in the world. It's like, and then you start to understand, you're like, oh, like trading is its own unique individual business for the individual. So it's like just because I do something some way doesn't mean someone has to do it the same way at all. And you could both make money. It's like there's so many different ways to do it. So once that starts to click, and you start to kind of compile some data and start to like see some patterns and stuff and have things like start to help you and like realize that you're like, oh, this is actually what trading is. Like everything is just if then statements, if the market does this, then I want to do that. And then creating that thesis behind it is like that's what we do as traders, and then we back test it and try it and try it and try it. Yeah.